So I've had a lot of fun with this little whoop, but recently I bought another one. And it's a very different beast, as I'm going to show you. So here we have the E17. It comes with a little controller like that. It doesn't come with a camera on it, so it's not really suitable for FPV unless you're doing FPV line of sight. So that's the way it comes. I've made videos on this before. That's the camera I put on top. Unfortunately, these cameras I bought about 7 years ago, so that I don't know if you can get them anymore. So you'd have to use some other camera. There's a big difference. The first difference obviously is price. This is about 30 bucks. This is around 200. The reason is this comes with a camera, and a much better camera for that matter. But more importantly, brushless motors. These brush motors will eventually wear out. These little tiny miracles of modern technology will last a lot longer. The other important thing is this is more versatile. It'll fly in air, acro mode, horizon, as well as angle mode. So it's like a proper drone. In fact, that's why I bought it. I'm using it as a trainer to get my acro skills up indoors. Yeah, they're worlds apart in terms of effort to set it up, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So this is the adapter that the Air comes with to connect it to Betaflight. So this, and then the other end goes onto a standard USB-C connector. Goes onto a standard USB-C connector like that. And then when you've got the whole thing set up, you can then connect it to a computer. The very first thing you need to do to configure this to fly is to enter a binding phrase. You can do other things than enter a binding phrase, but if you use binding phrase, it's so much easier to use all your drones. This is what I'm going to show you. So you plug it into a computer with the USB port there, and this time you're just waiting impatiently for a minute for the solidly flashing green light to go nuts and blink at a faster rate. Okay, it's now blinking rapidly, so it's ready for Wi-Fi. So what I do here is disconnect from what I'm on, and then I'm looking for other networks, and there it is, ExpressLRS. So I've connected to that one, and now if I hit this, I'll connect it. So notice the it's 10001, and we're now connected. And the reason you're doing this is to enter a binding phase. And under model, the first screen that comes up, you can just put it in here. Now I've already got mine, so I'm not gonna change it. But as I say, it's the first thing you need to do. Once you've done it, you scroll down and you'll see an option to save. So you want to save it. So once you've done that, you can disconnect it and carry on. In my case, the version is good. It's 353. I'm using 3 something something, so it'll be compatible. When it comes to ELRS, the important setting is go to System. ExpressLRS is the first one that comes up. So if you hit the OK for that. And this drone is using a packet rate of 250 Hertz. Now, in fact, I use 150 Hertz for my outdoor drones for better range. But rather than stuffing around changing it, what I tend to do if I'm flying this indoors rather than my outdoor ones, I just come in here and change that from 150 to 250. You just got to remember to go back. If you don't do that, it can take a while to bind because it has to search through to find your setting. So time to connect it to a computer. It's running Betaflight. And you'll see on the screen we get a connection. And the next thing to do is to turn on the radio.
Welcome to EdgeTX. Low battery. Telemetry connected.
Okay, we're connected with telemetry.
25 milliwatts.
So it's talking to the machine. If we look at it here on Betaflight, we should be able to see if we go to the receiver. Yeah, we're talking to it okay. So, yeah, so we've got a connection, and then you need to look at the modes tab and see if you've got, see if things are happening as they should there. So if I flick my arm switch, you can see it's going to arm. And if I flick the, it starts off in angle mode, and it's gone to acro. I won't go through the setting up of these settings. I've done another video and it's easy enough to find. The other important thing to do down here is to get the video transmitter working. So if you go to there, and what you're going to find is the table that's built in, and what you can actually do is change them to whatever you want. So I've got mine set to Bosscam E channel 1, which is what I want, and I leave the power on 25, the minimum. That's all I need for indoor flying. So if you have to make those changes, you make the changes, and then of course you save them down here. Okay, well that should be enough to connect to and fly the drone, and also to see where you're going with the VTX. So that's that part of it. Now for the flying. So this is the default stuff you see on the OSB on-screen display. Right at the top you can see the channel I've got, E1, and 25 milliwatts of power, and then all sorts of stuff all over the rest of the screen, which I modify as I go along. So as soon as it's armed, you can see everything there, and I'm flying in angle mode. So this is early flights before I started to explore acro. So it's fairly straightforward flying in angle mode, though that's not what I bought it for. Even so, it's certainly more responsive than the E17. But in angle mode, yeah, you're probably better off if that's what you want to fly in, or if you're new to flying, you're better off because it's more stable and you can take your fingers off the stick and it'll just hover. This one doesn't do that. It's more like a normal drone. So that was that. Here is what's happened after I tuned the OSC, got rid of the stuff that I'm not interested in, and simplified it a bit, and it's also in acro mode. You'll find when you're first flying in what you think is acro mode, it'll come up as air mode. The reason for that is because there's air mode is permanently enabled, and it has the advantage with tiny whoops of recovering if you bang into things. It sort of ups the throttle a bit, which has got some issues when you learn to fly. So I've turned off air mode in Betaflight, and that's why it's got acro instead of air up there. So it's a nippy little thing. And it's going to take me a little while to get used to it, but so far so good.